Welcome back to Content with Character. I'm Emily Aborn, and today we're going to get into the 5 spheres of influence in your business and how to nurture each one. Summer is well underway, as you may be quite aware, and we're going to be wrapping up this month, July, with 2 shorter episodes, as I promised at the beginning of July. My goal this month has really been for all of the episodes to be shorter and sweeter and maybe a little snarky, but short and sweet and contain a big bang for your buckarooski. Okay, so that's where we are. The reason I got the idea for today's episode is because I am a person who, let's see, how do I want to say it? I get very easily overwhelmed in spaces with too many people. Actually, not even just too many people in a single room, but like too many people that I owe things to, or too many people that I have loose ends open with. Too many people that are just too close for comfort. Too many people really do overwhelm me because I like to go deep. I like to create strong connections, and I also give a lot, which is good and also bad. So over the past 10 plus years of entrepreneurship, throughout the many places that I've lived in my life and the many jobs that I worked prior to having my own business, I've actually made quite a lot of connections. And I'm not saying this like braggadociously. I'm saying this as we all have. You have too. We cannot help as human beings but to connect with other people as we go about our lives. And so I feel like everyone through our lives are like these threads and tapestries. They're like part of this beautiful story, right? And as we bring these threads in, the tapestry gets more and more layered and more intricate and more colorful and more beautiful. So it took me a little while, but one thing I have learned is that not every single thread in the tapestry, not every single connection gets the same kind of weight in your life. You can't just keep in contact or keep connected deeply to every single person in exactly the same way. You can't keep up with everyone at the same level, frequency, reciprocity, or expect to give 100% to each and every single person that has ever walked through all of the walks of your life. And also, feedback is not the same from every single person. Your marketing is not going to translate to every single one of those people. Your business is not relevant to every single person. This does not mean at all that anybody should be discounted or seen as more valuable as part of your life than somebody else. So in this episode, I wanted to share a concept with you that I learned from an executive coach called the spheres of influence, because I find myself overwhelmed sometimes. I thought it was a really good way to kind of look at how all of these people play out in these spheres of influence, and also how that breaks down for us into the giving and receiving from each one. So it's not this executive coach's original idea. I was writing a blog for her, and she uses this concept to help train her clients who are looking for careers. She really helps them to look at and review all of these spheres of influence and then show them how are you giving to each and every single one of them? What are you receiving from each and every one of them? And you can see where sometimes you give in one area way more than you receive from it, but it kind of all balances out at the end of the day. So I thought it'd be fun for us to look at these circles. Well, ideally, I should say. I thought it'd be fun for us to look at these circles, look at how they play a role in our growth, who we're marketing to, who we're not trying to market to, where it's give, give, and sometimes take. We're also going to talk a little bit about how the voice and messaging looks different for each circle. I'm not going to get super deep into that, but just kind of little things that you can do to nurture each one of these a little bit at a time. Here's what I think. I think that knowing all of this has helped me to reduce the overwhelm, reduce some of the burnout, because you no longer feel like every single person requires all of you. And you can get some more clarity on where you need to focus during the season that you are in now. So it's fun. It's fun stuff. I know. In case we have not met yet, or in case you just love meeting me every single week, I'm Emily Aborn. I am a small business copywriter, and I'm wildly happy that you are here and part of my sphere of influence, and vice versa. What does a copywriter do? A copywriter writes the words that goes on websites and in blogs and in marketing materials, and that is exactly what I do. I'm also a podcaster, as you can hear by the sound of my voice, and I actually have some special offerings like just for podcasters. So check those out if you are interested. Well, you can check any of it out at my website, emilyaborn.com. We can also connect wherever you like to connect. And I'd love to give you a fun fact today, but I tried to think of one to share and I don't have one. So my fun fact is you know what? I just started to learn to crochet and I think I can't do it, but I'm still going to keep on trying. It is really hard because my left hand thumb doesn't exactly do what I want it to from running through a glass door when I was a little kid as an accident. So there's my fun fact. My fun fact is that I have a faulty thumb. Okay, so for the purpose of this episode, we are going to put you in the center, you in the driver's seat, and we're going to get into those 5 people who are orbiting around you. So these 5 people are the 5 that we're going to get into today. I'm sure there's more than just these 5. The 5 that we're going to get into today are stakeholders, and that would be your clients, your teams, your collaborators. The second one is advocates, and that would be cheerleaders or past clients or super fans. Number 3 is your gatekeepers. So that's the people who open doors for you or close them. They can also close them. And number 4 is influencers. Those are people who mentor you, shape your thinking, set you off on a new path, inspire you, give you ideas, etc. And then number 5 is your inner circle, your trusted confidants. All right, so let's start with the stakeholders. The reason they are called the stakeholders is because they have stake in your success. They are tied to you being successful. So this would be your clients. Their success is your success. And the same is true for your team members as well as those people who you collaborate with. So these are people who really want to see you succeed. They're also likely a part of your success and will benefit from your success. So I want you to think of this relationship as a very give-give relationship. With these people, the keys are that you have clear expectations. Everybody knows what their role is and what their responsibility is. Another key is having trust with these people. These are people you really want to trust, and you also want to trust you. These are people who you want to deliver on their promises and you want to deliver on your promises with. And you really get to be kind of the leader or be the guide, getting everyone to where they need to go. What do you receive from these people? Well, in return for all of those things you just gave, you get honest feedback, you get growth, you get shared goals, you get alignment and vision, and that feeling that rising tides raise all ships. That is the best feeling. So when you are let's say, writing to or speaking to these people, it's definitely going to look different for each of us. But for example, I work with a few website and brand designers. And when we collaborate, we really are elevating each other and our clients mutually. So my tone with this whole sphere of influence, with my clients, with my collaborators, with anybody that is a subcontractor for me, my tone with them is usually very friendly, supportive, clear, and very much a we're in this together kind of vibe. So again, this would be the case for any subcontractors I bring on, any clients. The only thing I would say and caution in relationships with stakeholders is that you want these to be very authentic and real. So the people pleasing, the hiding ourselves, the being dishonest in these relationships, that is rarely going to be a path to success with this sphere of influence. Obviously, I think that's rarely a path to success for anything, but the way to nurture these relationships is to have clear boundaries, regular check-ins, a spirit of giving and gratitude and generosity and transparency and trust. So this episode is going to have extended show notes with each of these spheres of influences mapped out for you, so that you can reflect on it later if you'd like. But I would like to encourage you to think about or jot down, if you're not like driving or walking your dog or something, think about one or two people of your own stakeholders. So who are two of your own stakeholders? And maybe they even are somebody that you reach out with today and you say, you know what, we haven't had coffee in a while and we should do that. You could send them a handwritten note. You could send them a personalized gift. You could send them an email or a text. Tell them you're thinking of them. Call them. Tell them you appreciate them. Set up a coffee check-in, something like that. In my experience, these are relationships that we want to nurture with consistency. And on that note, it's really hard if you have tons and tons and tons of them. So you want to be really intentional about who you kind of let in as stakeholders in your business. Lastly, on this, there are going to be a lot of opportunities within these relationships for feedback. And I'd say that is mutual. So again, you want that to be really somebody that you can trust. And that can trust you. And when you are giving each other feedback, you're doing it from this really caring, compassionate, I want to see you succeed place. So in turn, that feedback helps everybody to do better, everybody to inspire more, and everybody to create an even better final result. I love the stakeholders. Make sure you show your stakeholders how much you love them too. Number 2, the sphere of influence that I mentioned was the advocates. These are your cheerleaders, your super fans, your past clients, people who sing your praises, tag you in posts, share your podcast, refer people to you effusively, people who have never even bought anything from you or will buy anything from you necessarily, but they know where to send people who need what you have. Maybe they have gotten something from you, but sometimes it's just people who are like, I don't know, I just think you're great and I love you. What you give to these people, or what I would invite you to give to them, is gratitude. So like when somebody sends you a referral or makes an introduction or passes along your podcast or shares something for you, make sure you're saying thank you. Someone recently just found me through a podcast guesting opportunity that I did, and I took time to share with the podcaster what happened and how the client and I met, and say an effusive thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't take those opportunities lightly. The advocates are also going to be the people who you might consider giving like little sneak peeks or insider updates or like little special perks and upgrades and freebies and stuff like that. So depending on the nature of your business, of course, and your specific advocates, there might be special things that you want to offer these people. And I already said what you receive from them, but it's stuff like referrals, testimonials, brand reputation boost, those kind of things. Another good example of this, in addition to that podcast host, was Andy Lyons. Andy is the founder of New England Podcast Group. I will include a link to that in the show notes. If you're a New England podcaster, make sure you check it out. Holy smokes, it's amazing. I spoke there in June, and in return for me speaking, Andy delivered, okay? She delivered. She promoted the talk. She made a blog about it. She wrote me a LinkedIn recommendation. She kept promoting the episode, the workshop through like social media posts. It's such a cheerleader for me and my business. And it was such an incredible example of an advocate times 1,000 because Andy went that extra mile to be an advocate, to help support me and my business and shout it from the rooftops. Typically, I would say our voice with these people, with these advocates of ours, is going to be a very excited voice. Like, we are super grateful for them. It's also a very relationship-oriented tone, and it's filled with, like I said, gratitude. Be real, of course, don't fake it, but make sure you are giving thanks and giving gratitude where gratitude is deserved. we don't really build anything by ourselves, do we? We may feel like we're doing our businesses all alone, and we kind of are, but we don't really build it all by ourselves. These advocates are right alongside you, helping you build your business. 2 things I would watch for. One is like over relying on people, anybody, to be the entirety of your marketing team. Okay, you do actually have to do some work. In some cases, you're going to be like entirely word of mouth, and people singing your praises all the time is going to be the key to success. It does work in some cases, but not all. So number 1, like over relying on advocates to be the entirety of your kind of marketing pie. Number 2 is over relying on them to be the people giving you input or feedback, because in some cases, not all, but these are the people who do love you. They don't, however, know the ins and outs of your business, and they don't always know exactly what is best for your business. That is not all cases, but some. So just look out for those 2 things. And then to nurture these people, give thoughtful thank yous, give shout outs. I love giving shout outs like I just did with Andy, and like I do with you when you write me a podcast review. And if you haven't written me a review yet, well, hop to it, my little advocate. There are all sorts of things we can be doing to really thank other people for going the extra mile for us. And of course, it's not always relevant, but there are also places where you could have like special affiliate links or special referral bonuses. So my reminder is just be intentional with these folks. Love them as much as you can. Again, there are going to be extended show notes for this episode, but I would encourage you to take a minute here and think about 1 or 2 of your own advocates that you could reach out to today and thank them for their support. Number 3, the gatekeepers. This is our 3rd sphere of influence. These are quite literally the people who open and close the gates for us, the doors for us. Think podcast hosts, event organizers, referral partners, media spots. These are the people you want to have conversations with, usually for the purpose of gaining something. Now, you're also going to give, so keep listening. But usually you're gaining like more visibility, more traction, etc. Now, what you give to these folks is value. You're giving information to their listeners and their audiences. You're making their life easier by bringing in a really strong, professional, organized, follow through, preparedness, all those kind of things. So that's the energy that you want to come to these gatekeepers with. When you're trying to reach them, don't just think, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? But you really want to speak in a way that shows what is actually in it for them. What is the value that you're going to be providing for them? How do you make their lives easier? How do you impact their audience? How are you going to show up on time with the right microphone, with all your slides, with a tucked in shirt, or at least not looking like you just rolled out of bed, right? Like you want to be personal, but you also want to be professional and direct and really show them what that value is. Usually gatekeepers can sniff out a kiss up or a fake pretty quick. So I would caution you not to come in cold or unclear. And remember that these people are getting asked for things all of the time. Like they get a lot of pitches. So don't just be another person in that sea of favor askers. Be really intentional and try to help yourself stand out. When you successfully tailor a message, you're going to gain opportunities through open doors instead of closed doors with these gatekeepers. And you're going to get that access, that amplification, new visibility, new connections, etc. I think that the best way to nurture these relationships is what I just talked about, personalization. Personalization, personalization, personalization. A personal introduction is like the ideal way to go, the ideal way in, and also being a person who follows up with them. However, don't push people when the answer is no. And if you can't get a personal introduction, don't be afraid to reach out and ask anyway. But I would encourage us all not to be like annoying, because you just never know what is going to happen with these gatekeepers down the road. And you don't want to be remembered as the person that was like highly obnoxious. So for this one, I would encourage you to jot down one or two of your gatekeepers who you're like, I've been needing to reach out to this person, and then actually do it. Reach out and make a courageous, value-based ask. Number 4, the fourth sphere of influence is the influencers. These are the people who inspire you, mentor you, shape your thinking, lead you. You might know them and work with them directly, or you may not. They usually play a huge role in your success, and this is even if you have never ever met them. I can think of a bunch of podcasters specifically who fall into this category. Now, some of whom I've actually met. I've connected with them. Some of them I've become friends with, and some of them I haven't. And it's important to remember that it's not always like this perfectly reciprocal relationship with your influencers. So when you have influencers in your life, don't try to make them fit some mold or relationship mold that you want them to fit into. Just kind of, it has to unfold naturally. But these are really people who give you new ideas and inspire mindset shifts and motivation and conversation starters and food for thought and new ways of being and thinking and feeling and knowledge and information. It is a very exciting person who you love like tuning into or getting information from or learning from, because they influence you, right? So what you give them in return is actually pretty cool. You're giving them engagement. You're giving them, in some cases, appreciation, sometimes amplification, right? Like if you share something that somebody else is doing. You can write them a review. You can reach out and tell them. All of those things are great ways to kind of give back. My 2 big pieces of marketing advice here would be, don't allow yourself to get caught in comparison traps with these people. I have a dear friend who is a fellow copywriter, and I do think that she does this a little bit with an influencer in her own life. So don't allow yourself to get caught in comparison traps. And also don't copy them or allow their influencer to become your voice, right? Like, we don't want you to lose your own voice. That is yours and theirs is theirs. If you decide to nurture these relationships, some thoughtful direct messages or emails or reviews. I've had listeners reach out like this, and I'm not saying I'm an influencer, but I hopefully have influenced somebody for better or worse. But I've had listeners reach out and say just like how much they loved something or how something inspired them to do something for their own team or in their own business and how it's impacted them. So that stuff means the world. Like, I cannot say that enough. It means the world. If it is relevant, relatable, hit the nail on the head, reach out and tell them how much it impacted you. Plain and simple. Be you, be authentic, don't kiss up. And I'm going to give you another moment to just like encourage you to think of an influencer and reach out and let them know how much they have changed your world for the better. Number 5, the last sphere of influence is the inner circle. And this is exactly why I find this exercise so helpful. I spent a lot of time putting way too many people into this category that did not belong in this category. This category is reserved for our trusted confidants, are in your business and outside of your business. These are like your 2 a.m. people, okay? I mean, I would never call anybody at 2 a.m. Maybe if I lost a limb, maybe, probably not. I'd probably call an ambulance, and maybe even then I'd wait till morning. But you get the idea. These are the people that you call crying when you've had a really, really hard day. But they're also the people that you call rejoicing when you have something to celebrate. These are your business best friends and your actual best friends. And P.S., you don't only need to have one BFF. My closest and very best friends, they are the best thems. So I have a few of them. I have best thems. What we give these people in return is beautiful. It is a beautiful gift of vulnerability, honesty, care, love, support, reciprocity, which is like my favorite word in the English language. Hopefully, maybe some love and joy and fun. And I'm sure that list goes on and on and on, because what you give people is really exceptional. It is a gift. And what you receive, that is all a gift too. It is truth. It is deep emotional backing. It is creative sounding boards. It is support. It is a partner. The list goes on and on. So these are the people, like, you shouldn't have to think about your voice with these people, because this is really where you get to be that true, blue, unfiltered you. My only caution here is to watch for people you bring into your inner circle and be intentional with them. Make sure that you are filling those seats appropriately. I have found it be actually rather unsafe to treat somebody as an inner circle person who has not earned it. It's a little dangerous, okay? And it maybe is somebody that either I'm just not that into and I let them in anyway, or maybe somebody that I thought I could trust, but I actually could not. So it's really okay to be judicious in this area. You're not like some mean, horrible person. You should be cautious in this area. These are people that you're really wanting to get close to, like in an extremely vulnerable way. Hopefully you don't need me to tell you how to nurture these relationships, but I do think that with this, regular check-ins, regular touch bases, love notes, meeting in person, hearing about the details of somebody's day or week, getting together, sharing life's ups and downs, phone calls, that's a rarity for me, but phone calls in an ideal world, lifting each other up in your life and also in your actual businesses. And remember, not every friend is the right person to do any of these things. And that's why I think that we usually have thems. But when they are, it can be a really, really, really big gift. So be encouraging of them, and hopefully vice versa, you're getting encouragement as well. And as I've done with all the other categories, I want to encourage you to reach out to one of your inner circle members, your confidants, and tell them what you love about them. Call them up, leave them a voice memo, cheer them on, ask how their day is going. I don't know. You'll figure it out when you get there, okay? So to sum it up, I think that this was a little longer than I expected. Oops, sorry, but still shortish for Emily. But here's what I think. When you really think through and map out or consider that there are people in all of these different spheres of influences, you learn to stop asking the wrong people for advice. For example, your mom does not always have the best branding advice, and your spouse may not listen to your podcast and therefore not know what kind of intro music you should use. Sometimes they do. You then start to learn which relationships need deepening and which ones need detangling. Like, how do you back your way out of them a little bit or put them into the right spots? You also know that your voice is still authentic across all of these spheres, but there's actually different ways that your voice shows up in the various areas of your life. And when you really stop and consider all of these different spheres, I think that it helps you feel less alone, more grounded, more supported across the board. Like, you start seeing support in every single sphere of influence. And then you also know who you can look to for which kind of support. So your business, remember, it is not built on your own. It is not built on some illusions of an ideal person or avatar. It is built on these people, these real people, and nurturing relationships with these real people. So when you know who they are, what role they play, and how to care for these relationships, I think that things get a whole lot easier. And on that note, I will chat with you next week. We're going to talk about overcoming overthinking.